Hello everyone, welcome to another My Auction Addiction Addictive Information video. Bringing this to you early in the morning, just after Easter. So if you're watching this soon, I hope you had a wonderful Easter this year. Weather's been beautiful in New Mexico. Not a lot of wind really this spring season so far. And ignore the spots on my face, guys. It's the time of the day I'm doing it, and the sun is pouring in the window here. I tried to close the blinds as best I could, but it's pretty intense this time of the year as the sun comes over the Sandias this direction. Anyhow, today I want to talk to you folks that are executors of estates or managing estates or even possibly realtors. And I want to talk about security a little bit today, security. So from our perspective, what we're talking about is people getting into homes, taking and removing things that we're trying to sell or valuable assets to the estate. So I'm going to divide this into two categories. That's going to be external threats, internal threats. All right, so let's talk about that. So let's talk about first what an internal threat is. An internal threat is someone that has access, has the keys to the home, and goes in and removes things. There are a number of places this happens. It can be a family member that gets emotional and decides they want to go in there and grab stuff, whether it was belonged to them or not. A lot of times, and caretakers, don't get me wrong, we work with a lot of caretaker businesses, but some caretakers, there are some bad apples out there that feel like after they've been caring for an elderly person for some time, that for some reason, things are owed to them. I've heard everything from a car being owed to them, I was told that, to a house being owed to them, to everything in between. So this can be a big problem as well. Neighbors, maybe neighbors were helping your mother out as she was getting older, or your father. Lots of people can have keys. And a problem at this point, it's not even necessarily these folks are really dishonest or necessarily, it creates havoc and confusion whenever time somebody goes over there, there's something missing. It may not be something valuable, although it could be. But it's really important. I had a rental store that got broken into and everything of value was removed. It turned out, lo and behold, an ex-employee had a key, and the owner knew and didn't say anything to me because I would have padlocked the doors. Anyways, so these are internal threats. How do we deal with these internal threats? Easy. Guys, it costs less than $100, depending on where you're at, depending on how many locks you have, to re-key the doors. Re-key the doors. Can I say it again? Re-key the doors. I had a client the other day up in the East Mountains, $170 because it's way up there, to re-key all the doors. There's 20 keys, a ball of keys this big, and they're like, no, we don't want to spend the money. Guys, that is cheap. When a realtor goes to unlock the home and they don't have 100 keys to try and figure out what fits what door, it's going to be a lot easier to show the home. Now you've re-keyed it. Now you know you control the keys. Now you know that you control the keys. So once you control the keys, what do? Well, first of all, understand that the realtor is going to set up a Supra lockbox. That is a device that you have to have a subscription to, and you use a cell phone to open. We actually don't even have access to those ourselves, although because we're a member of the Realtors Association, we could get it, but we find a lot of times we're getting into jobs most of the time before those are installed. So the realtor will control access and is responsible for controlling access with the Supra lockbox. But what do you do about other things? What do you do about the pest control guy, the estate sale guy, us? What do you do about the home inspector, carpet guy, painter? What do you do about Uncle Henry that needs to come pick up a couch that you promised him? Here's my suggestion. Contractor lockbox. It's a little lockbox. You can buy them at Home Depot. They're pretty cheap. You go and you clip it to something. Could be a door, if there's a way to clip it to the door. It could be a railing. We have one with a clip to a railing right now that we're working on. Maybe a hose bib out back. Some place where somebody can't pull it off easily. And maybe, depending upon the neighborhood, some place that people can't easily see it and easily try to cut it off and break into it. Now, you just put one key in there. You have one key to control access, and you give it out to whoever you need to. And if at some point you go, man, that contractor seemed a little shady, or maybe you say, you know, I've had 10 people in there, and they've all gotten their work done, they've all been in and out, let me change the code. You can do that. So that gives you a lot of freedom to control access without you or the realtor having to get up at 6 a.m. and drive over to the job, or if you're out of state, that's not going to happen, and open the door. Or we forget a picture. Oh no, we got to run back and get a picture. You don't have to, somebody doesn't have to run back there and open the door for us. Great system. If you're not going to use a contractor lockbox, just keep it down to, say, maybe 3 keys that you rotate between individuals that you're allowing into the home. So that's the other way to do it if you're not going to invest in a little cheap contractor lockbox. So there you go. That's your internal threats. Now let's talk about your external threats. That is somebody just breaking in to the home and robbing it. I can tell you, 8 years, we do 3 to 10 sales a week. Very rare, extremely rare. 98% of all robberies, burglaries, whatever you want to call them, are internal jobs. They knew the family wasn't there. They had access. They had a key. They knew the doggy. Oh, one time the doggy door. They knew they had a huge doggy door, for instance. That's where most of them come from. However, not that withstanding, we've had a couple of outside burglaries over the years. Not significant, but we've had them. So what can you do about those? Well, changing the locks ain't going to help. Controlling access ain't going to help. None of that's really going to help. There are some things you can do, just real quick things. Number one, we realize that not everyone does their estate sale in the same amount of time. Some people do it a week after their loved one passed away. Some people take years and years emotionally to become ready to do that estate sale. We recommend trying to get it done in your own time, obviously, but as quick as you can. Keep in mind that the longer a home sits abandoned, the more things deteriorate. Nobody's there to watch the plumbing to see if a pipe breaks. And consequently, thieves will notice that nobody is living there. Now, you also can recognize that 95% of all crime in Albuquerque occurs in a couple neighborhoods. So if you're in one of those neighborhoods, that's something else to take into consideration. That would be Deep South Valley, War Zone number 1, or the International District, or the New War Zone, as they call it, in Westgate area. And in a crazy enough area off of San Mateo and I-25. So if you're in one of those areas, your chances go up. However, that being said, if you're a nicer home in a nicer area of town, maybe in the far northeast heights, and it is abandoned for a while, thieves may take notice. Thieves do go looking for projects in those areas where they think there might be more valuable things. So what else can you do with that knowledge? Well, some things you make sure the mail's forwarded, make sure the newspapers aren't being delivered anymore, if anybody gets those anymore. Make sure that somebody periodically goes by and picks up the yard. Another real trick we like is to rotate lights on and off. You know, every time we go over for an abandoned home, we'll flip a light on, flip another light off. Yeah, do something like that. Set a radio to play. That could be really discouraging. Is that radio there fake, or is there somebody really there? You know, if a burglar's got to wonder, there's a good chance they're going to move on. Just like when you have a Ring doorbell. Ring doorbells are very basic. You know, they film whoever's at the door, and you can talk to them two-way. that discourages a lot of burglaries. Well, simple steps like rotating lights can too. Another one that we've seen done quite a bit with out-of-town clients is they'll ask the neighbor to park an extra trip. Maybe the neighbor has a car hoarder and they got cars and trailers everywhere. Like, hey, you want to park one of those in the driveway for a while? Again, making it look occupied. All right. Those are really a few of the only things you can do. You can also ask the neighbors in general to keep an eye. If it's a good neighborhood, ask the neighbors to keep an eye. Hey, there shouldn't be anybody there. And then when you hire us to go do the estate sale, you say, hey, there's going to be a dude from My Auction Addiction there. He's going to be in a red pickup truck, or one of his girls will be there in a brown van or a white car. That works too, guys, in some neighborhoods, okay? So anyways, those are just a few security tips there. One other one I'll throw out there, especially, depending on the situation, is when you go to a home that's been sitting a while, it is rare, but sometimes folks will break in and squat in there, especially if it's been sitting a while. They'll be in there, making themselves at home. They could be potentially dangerous folks too. So if you see something amiss, the door's ajar, it's been broken into, you may want to speak to the police before entering the residence. So just something else. I know that's going to be a very extreme situation, rare situation, but it could come up. We just want everybody to stay safe. We want to protect the value of the estate, and not just the estate, but the home. I mean, if they could break in and steal $1,000 worth of merchandise, they might do $2,000 in damage to the home breaking in. That's even worse. So let's protect those valuable assets, guys, with just a few basic common sense tips here. All right, guys, I think that's all I have for you this week. Hopefully those security tips will help you. Again, if you like these videos, please like them. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you find these helpful. And if you are a person that is working on an estate sale, moving sale, downsizing sale, whatever it is, and you could use some help from us liquidating those assets, please give us a call anytime. Advice is free. Site visits are free to get started. Our phone number is 505-252-0915. Guys, have a wonderful week, and I will come up for another addictive video for you for next week.